At Home with Lucas here. So today we're going to be talking about Bissell Icon Turbo Pet Vacuum. Yes, I got my hands on this Bissell vacuum that has supposedly some amazing suction and ability to really tackle all the pet hair and all the dust and debris in your house. This thing comes in at just under 8 pounds, which supposedly is going to allow you to lift this thing up into hard to reach places. 8 pounds is a little bit more than a gallon of milk, so take note of that. This thing also has a strip of LED lights, and if you know anything about good LED lights on a stick vacuum, they're actually going to illuminate the dirt and debris and all the stuff that's in front of you that you may actually miss. So houses don't have the best lighting in the world, and stick vacuums do a phenomenal job on hard surfaces, and that light definitely helps out. This thing also has the ability to work on carpet, hard surfaces, and of course be a handheld. So it's kind of like a 3-in-1 beast, not to mention the fact that it has a 50-minute runtime. Now that is on the lowest motor setting, so definitely take note of that. You can probably cut that in half if you're thinking about doing it on the higher setting. This thing also has the ability to not tangle up. So it has a special Icon roller on it, which is going to allow it to not tangle up all that hair, which we've seen a lot of vacuums claim that and not actually do it. So we're gonna be putting that to the test for sure. So in this video, we're doing a hands-on with the box, quick unboxing and first impressions on said Bissell Icon. After that, I'm gonna be putting this bad boy to the Home with Lucas test to figure out, is this something you should buy or maybe skip altogether? I'm here for you, so don't have to waste your time buying and returning. All right, let's go ahead and jump into it. All right, I really like how Bissell does their boxes. They're very colorful, they're very informational, and it just basically makes you feel like you have a pretty solid product. Of course, you won't know until you get your hands on. So let's go ahead and open up this box and take a closer look. All right, there we go. So first impressions, it's very flashy. It has sort of a bronze copper look to it. It's trying to have, I think, a little bit of a Dyson look, if I'm not, maybe a Dyson mixed with a Levoit vacuum, but it's definitely eye-catching and it definitely looks appealing. When you hold it in your hand though, you notice immediately that it's a little bit heavy and it's not balanced as precisely as you would like. It has 3 different modes on there. The modes are not exactly as intuitive. Here I am trying to touch a touch screen when there is no touch screen. But yeah, you can go through the modes. The vacuum is actually quite quiet, which I really like, and it seems to have a good amount of suction right off the bat. That's my first impressions. But yeah, the cup size looks a little bit small, but we won't know until we start to get a lot of debris sucked into it. Down at the bottom, it has a massive amount of lights. Like, this probably has the most LED lights I've ever seen. And there is the ICONPet right there, turbo. And this, of course, is Bissell. So there you go. The lights are pretty cool. I like them. All right, let's jump into the first use. So the first thing you notice right away is that it feels pretty good in the hand. It definitely has the mode and the power button backwards, in my opinion. I think that they should switch them, because the first thing you always hit is the top button, and you just instinctively are like, oh, that's the top button, that's the power button. Nope, it's not. So you end up hitting the mode button a couple times before you hit the power button. So let's go ahead and make some fairly straight lines. So this thing can definitely make a straight line, but the suction is very, very strange. And I didn't find out about it until a little bit later on when I used it more and more, but we'll talk about that a little bit later on. So the lights are looking really, really cool. The ability to pull up debris is still unknown. We're going to find that out in a minute. The battery is actually going to die because I literally just pulled this out of the box and started using it. Sometimes you get a full charge, sometimes you get a half charge. This one, it was about a fourth of a charge, if that. I did run it, I think, on max suction or turbo, so definitely take note of that.
But yeah, first impressions, I was like, okay, this is seeming like it's going to be a great vacuum. Let's continue on the review and find out more. Okay, I got a full charge now, so let's go ahead and vacuum up the loft and see how well this thing actually performs. So the thing that I noticed right away is that the suction is very weird. So it's a very strong suction on carpet, and it's almost like they don't have like a breathe room for the vacuum. So a lot of vacuums will have like a little port that allows the suction to breathe through the side of the main roller brush area. And this one seems to not have that, or it's not working. So it becomes insanely, the suction is just like unreal. And if you're trying to move quickly with it, you're going to notice right away that this thing is, it pushes back on you kind of. It's very strange. So definitely take note of that. It's not the best for carpet, and this is not even the thickest carpet out there. It's actually kind of thin carpet, and it's old carpet too. Making straight lines was great. It does a good job. It has a good swivel to it, so it's going to be able to go around things really nicely. The LED lights, as you can see, are really awesome. Definitely one of the stars of the show. And as I use stick vacuums more and more, I'm starting to like the vacuum light a little bit more. So definitely take note of that if you're someone who is, you know, going to be vacuuming in the evening or in the early morning hours, and you don't want to turn on all your lights, but you still want to see where things are. The lights do help, I will say. But yeah, the maneuverability of this thing is good. It is definitely a chore on turbo, so take note of that. Also, turbo battery life is not going to last as long. So, but yeah, the hand grip was good. The balance of it still is off, in my opinion. I think that they could balance it a little bit better. It definitely doesn't have that weighted feel of a Dyson. You can get underneath things really easily with this thing. I actually like that a lot. So definitely applause for that. And then let's check the dustbin. So the dustbin picked up a decent amount, not the best, but it definitely did a good job, and it's very easy to dump the dustbin. All right, now let's take the middle shaft out and get the stairs cleaned. Okay, this is how I like to do it. I like to have the main big roller brush, and I go straight up the stairs with it to try to get them as clean as possible. So it's a little bit heavier, but it does a great job. So if you're wondering how to clean stairs really well, this actually works. All right, it did a great job on the stairs. It's a little bit wider than the step, but that's no big deal. It still had enough suction to power through. And I went kind of quickly, but look how much debris it actually pulled up. I was kind of shocked. That's pretty awesome. The other thing is I ran it on the turbo mode, so take note of that. The one drawback is the fact that it blows onto the step. So it's a little bit funny. Most vacuums do blow out the bottom or the side, but this one did it in a way that was just a little bit annoying. So if you are going to be cleaning stairs, take note of that this one is not the best in my opinion. And this thing is a little bit cheap and plasticky while using it on the steps. It's a little wobbly. All right, let's talk about how this does on hard surfaces. So I think if you're going to buy this thing, you should probably have over 50% hard surfaces. This thing does a phenomenal job. It really navigates well with the wheels, and the light is definitely designed for looking at hard surfaces that may be a little bit darker. So take note of that. But here we go. We're going to vacuum up some goldfish, and I wasn't super impressed by this. It did a plowing where it plowed a lot of it forward. It shot a few out the side. So I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 stars when it comes to hard surfaces vacuuming. Of course, if it's smaller than a goldfish, it's probably going to suck it up really fast because it does have good suction and it really gets it into the cup very easily. So I was very impressed with the maneuverability of this thing on hard surfaces and the suction and the overall use. So if you're buying it for carpet, not the best. It does a good job. It's just not something that is super enjoyable unless you have it on like a low suction mode. Okay, so here's the spot for it on the wall. It's just basically gonna sit like that. There is a stud right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the mounting hardware like that and have it floating. Glad that the Dyson effect is taking a hold. You basically pull this part out right here. Comes out pretty easily. It just unclips. Then you take your power cable and you're gonna slide it directly up just like that. And it's in there pretty secure. All right, and then you just basically slot this down in, and then immediately you can see that it starts charging right here. That is how it's gonna look on the wall. Okay, I've been using this bad boy for long enough that I think I have a full star rating. Let's just start off with the wall mount. So the wall mount is cool. It's not the best of the best. It's definitely a little bit rickety. There is an attachment you could put on the side and add some tools to it, which is really cool. I didn't do that, of course, but you definitely can. The cable on the wall gets hidden pretty much by the whole vacuum, which is nice. Battery life. So battery life is definitely 50 minutes on the low setting. So once you go into turbo mode, you're gonna be looking at maybe 20 minutes, maybe a little bit less, depending on if you have hard carpet or hard surfaces. So definitely take note of that. The cup down here is really, really nice. It's actually a little bit bigger than I expected. The LED lights down here are really, really awesome, really nice. The anti-tangle down here is true. You don't get any hairs tangled up in here, which is actually really cool. A lot of vacuums struggle with hair getting stuck in here. So if you have pets with long hair, it's going to be great. The only thing I don't like about this, I feel like there is some suction problems, and it seems to really have this intense suction, and it doesn't have an ability to pull in air from the side. There's just something about it that I noticed when it's, especially on turbo, it really hugs and just pulls the carpet and makes it very difficult for you to move this thing around. So definitely take note of that. The brake on here is really cool. I love that. The look of it is very, very sleek. I'm liking this sort of bronze look right here. They're really going for this like elegant sort of vacuum look, and I applaud them for it. But all in all, it is definitely heavier than you would expect. There's something about the balance of the weight, and as I'm trying to push right now, I cannot push this thing. It is very, very strange the way that this thing deals with carpet, and I think if you just have hard surfaces, you're probably going to be okay. But I have carpet half and half, and it's definitely annoying. So definitely take note of that. If you're buying this straight for carpet, I might say skip this and go with something else. The ability to filter all the crap is really, really nice. So it does a great job of filtering, but there's just something about it that's like right on the edge of being cheap and something I would say skip entirely, and also being something that's really nice. It is definitely heavier than you would expect. So if you're looking for something you're just gonna be able to pick up really fast and go, this thing is quite heavy. This is heavy down here, and this part over here is very heavy. So take note of that, that is not a lightweight vacuum. So all in all, I'm gonna say that it's a good buy if you understand some of the downfalls. But if you think that there's too much, just skip it entirely. But I'm gonna give it a solid 4.1 star rating. I'm gonna say for a Bissell, it's good. It's just not the best. There's probably better ones out there. So highly recommended if you understand the downfalls. Buy it.
All right, there you go. That is the Bissell stick vacuum. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, definitely click that like button. And if you want to join the Island Lucas family, smash that subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys in the next awesome video. Peace out.